everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, June 26th, 2022. Is Diane about to emerge from her cocoon of all black clothing to now spread her wings and become Genoa City's newest PR butterfly at Marchetti Fashion House? I really cannot think of a more perfect job for her. Especially in the context of the show right now, where every company is a media company and could use some PRing. That woman certainly does have a talent for taking something that looks really bad and turning it into something that sounds reasonable. She's very good at it. That's the thing about Diane. I think now and in the past, the thing about Diane is that you want to like her. You want to trust her. And that's your problem. That's Kyle's problem currently. It's hard to not feel for Kyle. I've always felt for Kyle throughout this process. He loves his mother. He wants his mother. He was talking this week about being the little boy who was hiding away in his bedroom, crying into his pillow at night, wanting to seem strong, but desperately missing and needing his mother. And in a lot of ways, he still misses and needs his mother. You don't really grow out of that. So now he is choosing to put his own hurt aside, and he is wanting to do something for the mother who left him. He wants to help her be better. He wants to help her transform her life. He wants to help her establish a new life, even among all of the haters and all of the naysayers in Genoa City. Nikki being chief among them. Nikki pressured Michael this week. She really dug into him, wanting Michael to dig into Diane's past, to try to find something on her that will drive her out of town. And Nikki was downright nasty about it. She was insistent and nasty about it. She was reminding Michael that he's on Newman payroll, so this is his job after all. And Michael really handled it with the same grace that he handles everything. He has floated his way through this situation so nicely. He just very effortlessly told Nikki that, all right, I will do as you're asking, but I'm only doing it to prove you wrong. Michael believes that Diane has changed and deserves this second chance. But I wonder if he's wrong. I mean, again, as much as I want to trust Diane, I wonder if he's wrong. I wonder if we are going to find some kind of evidence about her life prior. I mean, surely when you're creating a whole new identity after faking your death, living a whole new life, surely you have to bend some rules there somewhere. I don't know. Michael asked Diane about it, gave her the friendly heads up that, Nikki is, trying to run her out of town. He said it all very casually. Nikki's trying to run you out of town. Now I'm going to have to investigate you. So if there's anything you want to tell me now. She insists that there's nothing he's going to find out, but Michael is very, very good at his job. And if there is something, anything to find, Michael's going to find it, and there's going to be no way for Diane to PR her way out of it. Phyllis is back in a big hat. Where did she even get that hat? Did she order that from bighats.com? Where do you find a hat that big? It was a really big hat. It looked like a big floppy hat that was maybe spun around backwards. Because I don't know who would design a hat that would just fall in front of your face like that. I don't know. Maybe Angelina Marchetti. Maybe that's why she's getting out of the business. She's no good anymore. She's designing hats that just fall over the front of your face. Just purely disguise hats. I don't know. I mean, if you are trying to not attract attention to yourself, wearing that big old hat is definitely not the way to do it. But hey, she did it with a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of entertainment. She made the most out of that hat. You got to give it to Michelle Stafford. She made the most out of the hat prop. Phyllis took her big hat out for a spin around the town, and of course, she ran into Diane and Jack having coffee together again. And Jack was letting Diane get away with asking personal questions about his relationship with Phyllis after he told her last week that that topic is off limits. Suddenly, Diane's getting away with those limits. The limits are suddenly gone, and Jack's just opening up to Diane about the relationship with Phyllis. I mean, not a lot, but it's a whole lot more than, we're not talking about that topic. He told Diane that he and Phyllis are done. He told her that the relationship is over, and he allowed Diane to then say, oh, well, Jack, I'm glad that you and Phyllis are done because Phyllis wasn't good enough for you anyway. Pan to Phyllis's face as she holds the big hat back and shows the viewers that she's breathing fire out of her nose. And then Phyllis followed Diane to the park where Diane was meeting with Michael. They were having a couple of delicious looking crisp, cool summer lemonades and enjoying some friendship talk. And I gotta say, Michael is doing a great job of going to bat for Diane. Michael actually told Jack that he thinks Diane deserves the second chance and was really imparting on Jack that Diane deserves to be looked at through new eyes. I don't know how much of that Jack heard, but he seems to be softening. And then as soon as, Jack and Diane kind of floated off, Michael just kind of looked over his shoulder and said, okay, Phyllis, you can come out now. He just knew that Phyllis was back there. He called out to her in the bushes, okay, come on. I just love Michael. I think he is so hilarious. The way he is floating through this situation so effortlessly and so comedically is just so good. But, the other thing is Michael's giving me a lot of comedy. He's making my summer very nice and very bright, and I'm enjoying all of that. But he also had this very smart and very meaningful conversation with Phyllis in the park. It wasn't all yucks. He really dug in deep on her, and he said, look, ultimately, Phyllis, what you are going to need to realize is that the behavior that you're exhibiting now, what you're doing here, is going to force your daughter to have to choose between her husband and her mother. Is that a battle that you're willing to lose? Summer was on a peacekeeping mission all week, trying to come up with some way to keep Phyllis and Diane from blowing up the whole town while they just war with each other. Summer was able to pretty easily enlist Amanda to kind of keep an eye on Phyllis and help the situation out, but Lauren was not quite so quick to sign up. Lauren wants Diane out of town just as bad as everyone else, and I really like that it sets up that little bit of disagreement on the topic of Diane when it comes to Michael and Lauren and their relationship. I kind of like that they're on different sides of the Diane issue. And Lauren actually told Summer, this is all a really nice idea. Peace is really great in theory, but it ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have to choose a side sooner or later. Summer didn't stop though. Summer continued to persevere, and I've got to give her a lot of credit for that. When Phyllis finally copped to being back in town, sans the hat, without the big hat, she revealed herself to Summer as being back in town. Phyllis was given a lot of lip service. She was saying all the right things to Summer, and Summer didn't accept it. Summer actually called Phyllis's bluff. She said, all right, Mom, if you're going to talk the talk, then I'm going to make you walk the walk. Last week I asked you guys if you were liking this Summer recast, and 82% of you voted positive on New Summer, which is astonishing for a recast. And I have to say, I have to agree, and this is a great example of it. This is a good, strong version of Summer that we are seeing this week. I think the actress really has the chops, and I've got to give credit to the writers who have done a very good job of revamping this character. She feels very different. She feels a lot more bold and a lot more self-assured, and she is not afraid to take Phyllis to task and to step into the middle of this firestorm to try to find a way to calm it. Summer called a peace summit in the park and made Phyllis and Diane agree to play nice in the proverbial sandbox, although I kind of think that Diane was getting away with being really snarky in the situation, a little snarky toward Phyllis, whereas Phyllis was just obviously faking it. Phyllis was just being over the top happy and accommodating and making herself seem so centered and real and on top of it all. It was really more about Phyllis presenting that her ego hasn't been hurt, and Diane was just like, okay, pretty flippant. But it was fun. I really think that watching Phyllis and Diane trying to be nice to each other was just as entertaining as watching them try to rip each other to shreds. So we're winning either way. This is a win-win situation for the viewers. I think, though, that the niceties are probably going to be over pretty soon. I can't imagine it's going to last for very long. I don't think that it's going to work out into any kind of peaceful situation, and I don't think that it's going to win either of them any points with Jack either. Diane, of course, ran right back to the house after this meeting with Phyllis and told Jack that Phyllis was only being friendly with her because she was trying to make amends with him. So it's the same thing. Phyllis is just now using me to get to you. And then Jack, with this knowledge, gets a text message from Phyllis wanting to meet up. So Jack's going to have some decision making to do next week. Poor Jack. He is caught between two beautiful, warring ex-wives. What is a sentimental old fool to do? I need a spiritual guru. Oh, I am so happy to see Gloria. It is always a good week for me when I get to behold the glory of Glow. And she too was on a peacekeeping mission. She was trying to smooth out the working tension that has developed between Chloe and Chelsea, which it seems very realistic to me. They're two different personalities. They're friends, but I can see how they work a lot differently. And also, like, Chloe was just barking and yapping at Chelsea's feet the way that she always does. That's kind of the nature of their relationship. If Chloe is not yapping at Chelsea about Adam, then she's yapping at Chelsea about work. I love Chloe, though, don't get me wrong. I think that her reactions and Elizabeth Heinrichson's deliveries are priceless, priceless, priceless. I love her. Chelsea, she's kind of a free spirit, I guess, you know? I mean, she's sort of a creative force. That's a good way to put it. She's creative. Chelsea has certainly shown us some creativity over the years. I think she's trying to do the best she can, trying to establish a new career for herself. I think Chelsea is serious about wanting to have her career, and, you can't rush the creative process of a genius maniac like her. So she was pushing back on Chloe. And Gloria swept in there, made them rethink the situation, convince them that their differences are not problems. Their differences are actually their strengths, and that together they make a very good team. And I think that's true. I also really liked that Gloria said a few things about herself, because of course Gloria had to make it about herself at least a little bit. She said, I've had more businesses than I can count, and people always underestimate me, but I survive. That's what I am, a survivor. And I thought that was so great and so true, and boy, I just soaked up that scene. I don't know if Chloe and Chelsea are going to survive, though. It almost sounds like they're coming for a breakup. Summer asked for Lauren's permission to use Chelsea as the new designer for Marchetti. So either Chelsea's going to have to quit the project with Chloe, or Chelsea's going to have to be pulling double duty, or I suppose maybe they both could be pulling double duty. But we've had so many indications lately that Chelsea is going through something. She's very edgy, that she's a little adrift, and I am afraid that if she starts to work double duty, is doing all this work, has all this pressure of designing 2 lines, that could be something that might push her over the edge. And maybe that's not a bad story to tell, because I think a lot of us feel overworked, and I could like a storyline where we're seeing Chelsea feeling like her success is a blade that cuts both ways. Yes, it brings me all this glory, but it's also been really difficult for me to manage it. And I think I could stand to see Chelsea getting increasingly frustrated with her career in a way that is real and identifiable to the viewers. Not in a poisony way. Not in a I'm gonna just poison somebody kind of crazy way, but more in a realistic I'm stressed out kind of way. I don't want to see Chelsea going after married guys, though. We're also seeing little hints of that, and I don't like it. After everything that happened with Ray, it just looks that way to me. She went right from Ray to maybe looking at Kyle a little bit, and I don't know. I just don't like that. We also saw her having a conversation with Billy this week. Couple scenes there. One scene with Billy this week, and then one scene with Nick too. So I don't know if we're just testing the waters here, but I can tell you unequivocally, I don't want to see Chelsea and Nick back together. I think Chelsea and Nick have tried twice, and they've failed. I don't think they're each other's person. I just don't think the chemistry is there, unless something changes because the timing is now there. But they've tried and failed, and the scenes with Billy didn't quite click with me either. I don't know if Chelsea was necessarily having her eyes toward romance when she was looking at Billy, kind of asking him to stay, wanting maybe to schedule some time for the kids to be together. To me, Chelsea just seemed lonely. It just seemed like she was desperate to have somebody to talk to, have somebody who could understand her or not judge her, or just somebody to chat with. I don't know. I think whoever gives Chelsea the attention that she's looking for is going to be the one who she ends up with next. I want to ask as a poll question this week, who do you think that will be? I mean, we've chem tested her with a couple of different people, up to and including even Chance, even Noah for a minute, I thought, although that's definitely not, or that doesn't seem on the table for now. So I wanted to ask you guys, who do you think is the next guy for Chelsea? We have all these options. Could it be Billy, Chance, Kyle, Nick? Who do you think it's going to be? Cast your vote this week at yrchat.com. Tell me who you think's going to be next for Chelsea and who you want to be next for Chelsea. Or if you think it's somebody else entirely, leave a comment and let us know who it is. Speaking of success cutting both ways, Billy admitted to Jill this week that he's been emotionally holding back from Lily, and that he's having some feelings that he's having trouble articulating to her. Billy tried opening up to Lily about it immediately after talking to Jill, but then they got interrupted because she had to run off to a meeting. And I just want to say here, I don't like that. I don't blame Lily for having to go to her meeting. I don't like if the subcontext of that scene was, oh, Lily's too busy to listen to Billy, so she can't help that she had a meeting. I mean, that it just doesn't seem fair. If Billy has personal issues that he needs to bring up, he needs to do it on personal time. And they did make personal time later for the personal talk in the park. And I empathize with Lily here. I don't think she's done anything wrong, and I don't like an implication otherwise. I have no doubt that Lily wanted to hear everything that Billy had to say. I have no doubt that Lily would do anything that she could to help Billy. But I don't think Billy knows what he wants. I don't think Billy knows what he needs, and so therefore I think Lily doesn't know how to help him. Nothing that Billy expressed to her felt very concrete to me. Even after listening to him twice, I couldn't figure it out what exactly it is he wants, and I just don't think he knows. And that's sort of the essence of Billy. That's it in a nutshell. Billy is always reaching for something. Something. He always wants something. He has this desire, but it's always like this transparent, dangling carrot that he's always, oh, gee, it's out there. I can kind of, it's there, right? But what is it? He has had various points in his life where he's been able to pinpoint it, but right now he doesn't seem to be able to. And rightfully so, I think. Lily seemed concerned coming out of that conversation with Billy. Like, maybe Billy will not do well with the attention that his podcast is now getting. Or maybe Billy will not do well if the podcast fails. It goes up, it goes down. That's what he is. That's what he does. The podcast succeeds. He's not entirely happy. The podcast goes down. He falls into a depression. These are valid concerns, and it really could go either way. He told Jill this week that he feels restless. He's the embodiment of the show, isn't he? He is restless. I mean, always reaching, always wanting, but not really knowing what it is. Restless. So it's great. It's great in terms of viewing and entertainment. But of course, Jill was worried that this could lead to Billy's addictive behaviors flaring up again. And I think that is a very fair concern. Billy, right now, has got it all. He's got a fabulous girlfriend. He's got a great job. He has a creative project on the side that seems to be flourishing and feeding his soul. But what's truly bothering him? You know, what is it? What's really bothering him, and will he be able to find a healthy way to address it? Or will he get frustrated and start looking for a quick fix, which inevitably leads to him blowing up his perfectly good life? Okay, Imani, pull it back a little. Just a little. I mean, first of all, telling Nate that the internet thinks he's sexy right in front of Lily and Devon. I mean, it's true, but you don't say it in the middle of a workday in front of the bosses. That's inappropriate and kind of embarrassing for Nate. And then Imani also made this kind of passive-aggressive comment to Devon about risk-taking. Like, oh, you know, you're too conservative and Nate's not taking the risk and it worked out, didn't it? I'm thinking, whoa, Devon is your boss. Devon is the co-CEO of the whole company. He's not just your sister's boyfriend who you can talk to however you want. Imani has been given the red carpet ride here at Chancellor Winters and in the family because she is Amanda's sister. But if it were anybody else making that comment at work to the boss, she might have gotten tossed out on her ear. Even Nate was annoyed with her about that. He did give her a light scolding, which she quickly smoothed out. with the continued puffing of his ego. I think Nate knows deep down that he overstepped and that Devon is ticked. And I think that Nate is lucky that it worked out in his favor. But next time, is it going to work out in his favor? If he's going to continue to make these risky moves, bold moves, is he always going to be right? Or is he going to do something, step out a little too far out of line one of these times? I think Nate is also restless. I think he is hungry. And that is making him very edgy right now. Elena thought that maybe some vacay time in Hawaii would do the trick. I mean, who would not jump at the idea of going to Hawaii for a couple of days? Well, Nate, apparently. So we were reminded this week that Elena, too, is on her own career path. Elena's not just over here doing nothing. Elena is doing well. And it's not in a flashy, in front of the public eye kind of career, but she was asked to speak at a convention in Hawaii. She was asked to give information and be seen as an expert within her professional field at this convention in Hawaii. And she was proud of herself. And she thought that maybe she could share some of that with Nate. Maybe he would like to go along with her, see her in action, maybe be proud of her for a little bit, maybe make a vacation out of it, maybe squeeze in some fun time. And Devon just so happened to be with her when she got the phone call with approval that Nate would be able to go with her. And so Elena naturally mentioned it to Devon and I guess asked if it would be okay, for Nate's side of it, if she, went ahead and booked this or floated this idea out there. And Devon approved. He told Nate, yes, it would be fine. He told Elena, yes, it would be fine if Nate took the time off. But when Elena presented the idea to Nate was completely offended that Elena would go over his head and talk to his boss about his schedule without him. And I don't think that's an altogether unreasonable reaction from Nate. I think that Nate could have handled it better, but I can certainly see his perspective. I think Nate is trying very hard right now to establish his independence. Nate is trying to establish his value to the company, and having your girlfriend ask your boss for some time off works against the posturing, the image that Nate is trying to project. But the problem here, I think, is that the images are all mixed up. Devon is not just Nate's boss. Elena wasn't just talking to Devon as Nate's boss. She was talking to Devon as friend, neighbor, family member, and who knows, maybe someday lover. I mean, they were former lovers, certainly. And you never know. Someday, rather soon, Elena might be needing some comfort from Devon, and she might just get it. Who knows? So Naya had a stroke. Are you kidding me? A stroke now? What more is Y&R going to do to this poor woman off screen? She had a heart condition already. Now she's had a stroke. What's next? Hit by a bus? I don't know how much more I can take of this. I liked Naya. I thought Naya would have been a good partner for Jack. But no, she's just going to be a tool, a health tool to get Amanda off screen because Imani said, go ahead. Mother had a stroke. Amanda, why don't you go off to be with her? That is so weird. Imani was so protective of Naya when she first showed up. And now Naya has had a stroke. a stroke. It's not a small deal at all. And Imani thinks that Amanda should be the one to go support her, as if having her 2 daughters by her side would be too much for Naya. Whatever. And on the day that Imani learned about Naya's stroke, Imani also learned about Elena's trip and couldn't help licking her chops, thinking that maybe she might be able to do some fine dining while Elena is out of town. Oh yeah, that's right. Elena might be the one going to Hawaii, but Imani might be the one getting laid. I am so glad getting to see Sally enjoy some of her success. She got a new desk. She got a fancy nameplate, and now she and Adam have their choice of 2 CEO offices to have sex in. Take your pick. Mine or yours. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we could do mine. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we could do yours. Oh, that's right, they work overtime. When you're the CEO, you work overtime. Yeah, Sally's first order of business as the new CEO of Newman Media was to research what other female CEOs wear and then to try to put her spin on it. She said, what outfit says large and in charge? Oh, I know, a black leather corset. Do any of you guys have female bosses who wear black leather corsets? That would be something to talk about in the break room. It seems like Y&R is trying really hard to play up Sally's wardrobe and how she looks in the part, because they know the viewers are saying, wait a minute, Sally Spectra is a designer. She's a legacy designer, for crying out loud. Why is she running a media company? And Y&R's answer to that is, oh yeah, but she's designing her own clothes while she does it. Okay, how long's that gonna be good for, though? We'll see. We'll find out. Who knows? She may be out of a job if Adam has to end up going back into it. Because there's no black leather corsets for Adam. He does not get the black leather corset treatment. Sally's CEO title seems to have come with a ton of freedom, whereas Adam's CEO title seems to have come with shackles. Adam told Victor, hey, I know why you put me here. I'm not a dummy. You did it because you wanted to get at Victoria. Well, I'm glad that Adam at least realizes that. It was breaking my heart thinking that he was going to get his heart broken when he figured that out. But he knows. He understands the score and he accepts it for some reason. Victor didn't deny it. And he wasn't particularly reassuring. Instead, Victor sort of let Adam know that he bestowed this crown upon him and he can take it away whenever he wants. And then Victor just turns his whole attention to finding Victoria, or having Michael find Victoria, rather. I'm not complaining. Michael Baldwin has been, making my screen very, very happy. I really like him. I especially liked the moment where Michael was like, funny. Victor can't figure out why Victoria would be attracted to a man who is so deeply flawed. Michael just sort of wags his finger and says, gee, I have a theory. That was so cute, so true, such good writing. I love how Michael is able to give Victor the straight talk. I think that dynamic is really awesome. And two other people who used to do that? Catherine and Neil. Catherine and Neil were both never afraid to give Victor the straight talk. I mean, maybe Catherine a little bit more than Neil, but Neil was not afraid to tell Victor the truth in a respectful way. Catherine, on the other hand, was a little bit more bossy, a lot. Nikki tried getting Billy to help get Victoria back. And Billy, to his credit, said, I'm not getting involved. Billy has taken Lily's advice. He's given Victoria his blessing, and he thinks maybe the Newmans should do the same, but we all know that ain't happening. On Friday, Victor called a press conference to announce that his new favorite child has taken over the CEO title, and he's, of course, hoping that his previous favorite child will get jealous and run home. I'm sure he full well knows that Victoria was watching, and she was. Victoria watched the whole press conference, and she stayed strong in her conviction. She didn't seem to be wavering at all. She then went on a commercial real estate shopping spree with Ashland as they are looking for a place to start their new business together, which Nick told Victor all about, which I thought was kind of rude. Nick has been on Victoria's side. He's a confidant to Victoria. Victoria trusts Nick and told him information in confidence. And then she called him from New York, trying to give an update on where she was, that she was okay. And then Nick ran right back to Victor and told him everything. And now Victor is having Michael approach all of those business investors that Ashland and Victoria have been trying to woo. I guess Michael's going to be putting the pressure on them to not give Victoria and Ashland any money, not give them what they want. But what does Victoria want? That is the question of the week, isn't it? What does Victoria want? Did Victor do what he did and end up sort of working against her? Is Victor working against Victoria at this point, or did he inadvertently do something that might work out in her favor? Because Victoria told Ashland, well, maybe we shouldn't seek out investors. Maybe we should try to fund this business ourselves, which would put them into a financially risky position. So it begs the question here. Is Victoria perhaps trying to bankrupt Ashland? Is Victoria perhaps trying to take away the measly $500 million that Ashland has left? Is Victoria perhaps secretly planning revenge against Ashland and has been all along? We can't change the past, so we might as well try to change ourselves. That was our Who Said It quote from last week. A very nice, thoughtful quote that came from Jill. Oh, hasn't she evolved? We can't change the past, so we might as well just try to change ourselves. I really liked that line. She was talking to Jack and Diane, just sort of commenting on Diane's resurrection and her new beginning, and quite a few people guessed that one right. It was Jamie, Daisy, Kathy, Henry, Susan, Ron, Tanya, Sonia, Lara, and Keisha. How about a little something this week that is not quite so wise? Here's our quote for the week. Who said it? Don't screw up. Sometimes I like to pick the grandiose quotes. Sometimes I'd like a nice, succinct 3 words. Don't screw up. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now on to your comments, starting with Gary, who says, OMG, Victoria hates Ashland and is bankrupting him. Keisha also says, yes, something's up. Victoria is too happy. Like how the Wicked Queen reacted after watching Snow White bite the poisoned apple. She's definitely up to something, and Ashland is completely clueless. Diana says, I'm now positive Victoria is up to something, as I feel she confirmed this thought at the end of the episode when she mentioned she wanted Ashland to use his money to fund their business venture. Ashland didn't look very happy about it, but Victoria gave him a good reason, saying it would give them total control and independence. It now appears Victoria's plan is to take down Ashland by taking his money that she feels is rightfully hers and her family's. Well, was Victoria suggesting that Ashland pay for it all, or was she saying we need to pay for it all? Because that part didn't fully make sense to me either, because I thought that it was let's invest, and in that way Victoria would be putting her own financial position at risk too to enact her plan. I don't know. Daisy says Victoria might just have a plan that reveals all of Ashland's lies, from where he got his money, to his name, to his schemes that harmed many people. Ashland might end up with many lawsuits, maybe even jail time. After all of Ashland's lies are revealed, Victoria would let him know what she really thinks of him and how she did it to him, exactly what he tried to do to her. She was him so snowed he'll never see it coming. In the end, this will bring tears of joy to Victor's eyes. He'll know his daughter is strong enough and savvy enough to continue his legacy and be the CEO of his company. Yeah, so maybe Victoria's going to go set this whole company up and then steal it away from him, just like he planned to do to her. But Y&R Viewer 123 says, I have a feeling Victor and Victoria have a plan. Victoria is a very smart woman, not with her choices in love, but I'm sure she is not stupid enough to go back to Ashland. And the fact that Victor just allowed this to happen just shows that they might have a plan. And Nikki, Adam, and Nick might not have a clue about their plan. What do you think? I think that would be a great twist, Y&R Viewer 123. If Nick is totally clueless, then Victoria may be counted on Nick to spread her secret or to betray her confidence by going to Victor. That then has Victor go to the investors and sort of blacklist Victoria and Ashland from getting private investments, which would force them to use their own money to fund their business venture, which would be getting Victoria exactly what she wants. And if she does have a plan of bankrupting Ashland, that would certainly be a way to do it. I feel convinced that Victoria has a plan. I'm not sure if Victor is privy to it, but if he was, I would like that very much. Well, Gary says Nikki is haranguing Michael Baldwin. We pay your humongous salary, she says. But Victor had to beg Michael Baldwin to take the job because he didn't want it. He can quit anytime. You don't have to fire him. Yeah, that's right. Michael has all the power here. Sue W. says, I thought Melody Thomas Scott was terrific in the scenes with Lauren and Michael this week. Nikki was at her most righteous and awful best while harping away at the both of them. Nobody does it better. Phyllis runs a close second but tends to get lost in histrionics. Nikki plays self-anointed queen to perfection. Self-anointed queen. That's a great way to describe it. She's so bratty lately. Yeah, it's true. Well, Victoria agrees with that, saying Michael and Lauren are such a nice comic relief. I love their banter. The writers did an excellent job on Michael's dialogue and direction there. His lines and gestures about being invisible made me smile. I look forward to round 2. Yeah, I loved that Nikki and Lauren were talking over Michael and we just got to see his reactions. You can't buy it. Christian LeBlanc is so good, and whoever set that up was so good. That was one of the best scenes of the week. No doubt about it. Y&R Viewer 123 says, I think Michael will betray Victor and the rest of the Newmans now that Diane is here and they're friends. The one thing I'm not hoping for is Diane breaking up Michael and Lauren. Oh, I don't see that happening. I don't think Diane's going to do anything to come in between Michael and Lauren. I'm also not sure that Michael's going to betray Victor. I think that if he sticks his neck out to defend Diane and he finds out that she is lying about something, I think he's going to be hurt, and I think he will not be there to protect her. Never know, though. Victoria says, I'm hoping Diane hasn't reformed. She gave us more hints today that she's still manipulative. Diane told Kyle that her passion in PR and her passion is in PR and communications. She's been taking some classes in rebranding and crisis management. Sounds like the study material she needed to come back to Genoa City and present a new persona. Her crisis management skills will come in handy when Nikki and Phyllis team up to take her down. I can't wait. Yeah, again, from last week, we have to remember Diane has had years to plan this comeback. T. Nicole says, I love Phyllis in her green dress. on Friday's episode, green with envy toward Diane. That's a really good observation. Yes, green with envy. Naomi says, here's something we will never see. Phyllis in a disguise as a frumpy middle-aged woman. Plain clothes and shoes, no makeup, hair pulled back in a messy bun. The hat and sunglasses do nothing to hide her identity. The hair, figure, and lips are unmistakable and on full display in her bright, pink, tight-fitting dress. Yeah, there was nothing about that disguise that was subtle. That just reminded me, though, of the time that Nikki dressed up as the cleaning lady and was cleaning around in Victor's office, and she was looking very plain, and then she revealed herself as beautiful, gorgeous, fabulous Nikki Newman. Yeah, that would have been really fun, though. Instead of the big hat and glasses, if Phyllis would have just worn some frumpy clothes and tried to blend in that way. I don't think she could be frumpy if she tried, though. Let's talk about this summer recast, because there's quite a few comments here on it. Sue W. says, I like the summer recast a lot. I almost wish she had a new nickname, because this summer is a completely different character than the previous one. And kudos to this actress for not attempting any copycat of Hunter King, but finding her own way instead. Yeah, that's a great point. She's not trying to copycat Hunter King, that's for sure. This is a very different summer. Astra voted, I like her because I don't dislike her, but she still has to grow on me. Her acting is fine, but I just don't see any chemistry between her and Kyle or with Phyllis. We haven't seen much of her with Nick. But I never cared about Kyle and Summer's romance before Michael came on as Kyle. But Hunter and Michael had such great chemistry that I came on board with the Summer and Kyle romance, and now I'm back to not caring if they stay together or not. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't say that I very much care about the Summer and Kyle romance. Where the new Summer's really killing it for me is with the interactions and relationship with Phyllis. Ellen says, unpopular opinion, I like new Summer more than Hunter King's portrayal. Hunter as Summer often came across as spoiled, entitled, and whiny to me. I find the new Summer to be more sophisticated and more believable as someone who works in the corporate world. I will be thrilled if they write her as someone who stands up to Phyllis and Victor by forming her own opinions about things like Diane and Ashland. Yeah, I agree with you, Ellen. Maybe it is an unpopular opinion, but I think I like new Summer better than old Summer, too. And I like Hunter King. I don't have really any criticisms of Hunter King. It's just very different, but I like this version of Summer even better. Also, I do think she did a really great job of reacting during the scene between Phyllis and Diane in the park where they were trying to make nice. She gave a lot of comedic faces, but not over the top. I think there's a powerful subtleness to her and to her performance and what she's giving, and I really like her. Sherrod says, well, I like this new Summer. She seems more mature and level-headed. The actress seems grounded to me, too. Even though I truly love Hunter King, and since it seems the show is putting Chelsea in Kyle's orbit, I want Tessa in Summers. Get Tessa away from Mariah, married or not. I have not forgiven Mariah for cheating on Tessa, not accepting Tessa's first proposal, carrying another woman's baby, and then trying basically to emotionally blackmail Tessa into having a baby for her. Also, if Summer's not with Kyle, I don't believe there are any other men in town for her to be with, but I would really love to see her and Tessa together. Mariah had a blonde. Tessa should get one, too. Ooh, Sherrod hot take. That is good. Summer and Tessa. Well, Tony says, I voted I like New Summer, and I'm not usually a fan of recasts of long-running characters, so that's good. She seems suited to the career and being Kyle's equal. Not so much with her parents yet, but she hasn't had a lot of scenes together with Phyllis or Nick. Those three seemed like a real family. Oh yeah, Hunter King's Summer and Phyllis and Nick did seem like a real family. That's a good point. But Tony also goes on to say, my negative reactions to recasts are because they make it seem like I'm watching a different show. Have you ever watched a soap you don't usually watch? They all seem like actors. That is a really good way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, the recast sort of pulls you out. You're used to something you've accepted, and then you're watching somebody different, and you're thinking about their acting, like they're all acting like when you watch another soap. Yeah, that's a really good point. Diana says, I loved Gloria's G necklace. It's very Gloria-like. I thought of you, Allie, when I saw Gloria this week, and her choice of jewelry. Yeah, I thought the G necklace was so perfect. Diana also says, Chelsea ran into several male characters this week at the park. There must be a reason for this. I feel like Y&R's testing the chemistry of Chelsea with the different characters to see what the audience feedback will be. They seem to want the viewer's opinion on who to pair Chelsea with, so that would be interesting. I definitely don't want to see her with Nick again, as we've already been down that road. I love the idea of Chelsea pairing up with Chance or Kyle, as that would bring some excitement to the show, and their love would be forbidden. Ooh. Tina Cole says, I thought for sure we were headed toward a Chelsea and Kyle love affair, but that scene Chelsea had with Billy gave me the inkling that Y&R is testing a Billy and Chelsea romance as well. I would prefer to see Chelsea with Billy than Kyle right now. I already see the relationship between Billy and Lily have its cracks. Ooh. Naomi says, you might be right. Chelsea was trying to manipulate some time with Johnny. She asked for visits before, and Billy refused. What better way to see Johnny than she could be his stepmom or mom? Chelsea's always working an angle. Ooh. Victoria says, I'm not sure they're headed that way. Billy was downright rude to Chelsea when she mentioned Johnny. It was like he couldn't get out of there fast enough. If Billy was smart, he'd have Amanda look into Chelsea's rights where Johnny is concerned. Billy could tell Chelsea if the results are positive. Chelsea would be more than happy to have an older stepbrother for Connor. This is interesting because I didn't see it either way. I didn't think about Chelsea asking about Johnny as a way to get to Johnny, and I also didn't really get romantic vibes between Billy and Chelsea. I got more lonely, please hang out with me, I need a friend kind of vibe. Keisha also said, I saw that scene completely different. I saw Chelsea bringing up Johnny and Billy doing everything. I saw Chelsea bringing up Johnny and Billy doing everything he could to change the subject. It appears that Chelsea has wires in her head that shouldn't be touching. We know she's unstable. Victoria would destroy Chelsea. That was clear the last time Chelsea mentioned Johnny's name. I'd be completely on board with a Billy and Chelsea pairing if Chelsea was working with a full deck. She's Johnny's biological mom, and it would make all the sense in the world to have them fight Victoria for custody. I just can't see Billy turning to Chelsea and all of her baggage. Billy has enough of his own. Yeah, I know there's a couple of reasons, I guess, and you just said them as to why Billy and Chelsea don't feel real appealing to me, but I don't know. I mean, I guess the writers can work us any way they want to if the chemistry's there. Keisha says Summer... No, wait, no. Yeah, Keisha also says Summer is willingly placing Chelsea in Kyle's orbit. There's a reason why we've been seeing Kyle running into Chelsea. Chelsea, designed for Marchetti, will be Summer's karma. I remember how she took advantage of being Kyle's work wife when he was married to Lola. What's that saying? How you get him will be how you lose him. Hey, that's not a bad point. Summer took advantage of being Kyle's work wife when he was married to Lola. And then what's that saying? How you get him will be how you lose him. Ooh. You know, it does seem like that's where it's most obviously headed. Now Chelsea's going to be working at Marchetti. We've already had a couple of interactions with Chelsea and Kyle, alone and with Summer. So it almost does seem to indicate that's where the triangle is. Victoria says, rather than having Chelsea pull double duty on designing, why not have Kyle and Summer bring in a new designer? This person could be the lover that jilted Noah, or someone else to mix it up with different couples in Genoa City. The writers could write this as a very bold character who's attracted to all ages and genders. Yeah, that could be an opportunity, Victoria. Maybe we can make them a hairdresser too, so I can get my beauty parlor set. Sue W. says, I thought Chelsea looked really pretty this week in Chancellor Park. I liked the light color pairing with the simple cut sleeveless top and skirt. The white belt was actually a nice touch, seeing as how Y&R wardrobe tends to overuse it in an often not flattering way on other characters. But she looked summer casual and very refreshing, mostly because there was no in-your-face glitz, spandex, day-glow color, or cutouts. Easy on the eyes, both literally and figuratively. Chelsea and Diane dressing down and classing up, well in style anyway. Yeah, that is really true. And what the heck were they doing with Nikki? Didn't she had on like some print, some like brown and white print with this big blue wide belt and a big blue purse. It was off. That whatever Nikki was wearing was off, but they do love those wide belts. And I'm sure that Y&R feels, well, we've got to make the fashion big. That's what people are watching for. But I do think you make a great point that the understated outfits really stand out amongst all of that big fashion. Henry says, Allie, you made a comment last Sunday that Amanda really rocks the white attire. Well, after Monday's episode with her and the pink, I think we can safely say that she rocks anything she wears. Wow. She looked fantastic in Monday's episode. Quite fetching. Oh yeah, I did see her in pink. She just looks good in everything. Michelle Morgan is just probably one of the most beautiful women on the show. She looked beautiful in that pink. It was sort of a Cubert looking geometric print. But yeah, she just really, the colors just pop out on her. Everything makes her look even better than she already does. And I believe that Michelle Morgan won the Daytime Emmy, right? A couple days ago. I really didn't watch the Daytime Emmys. I don't know. It's not, I like looking at the outfits, but for some reason it's just not part of my soap tradition to really watch them. But she was the only Y&R winner that I saw. So she got a Daytime Emmy. I believe she was wearing kind of a black and red gown, and she looks gorgeous in everything. I wish I could have seen her reel. I wonder what she submitted. That would have been interesting. Victoria says Y&R are gearing up for their promo, Some Like It Hot. Amanda will be out of town comforting her mother, so Imani will have uninterrupted time to go cozy with Nate. Elena will come back from Hawaii disillusioned with Nate and run into Devon, who's lonely. Then there's Kyle, who will fall prey to Chelsea. Sounds like a young and restless summer. I love that. A young and restless summer. Gary says, why has Amanda's off-screen mother turned feeble with a stroke over giving her a thriving life? Will Naya reveal a big secret to Amanda on her deathbed? Oh, that'd be good, but that would mean that Y&R had some kind of plan, and I don't think they do. I think they just wanted to get Amanda out of the way so that Imani could sink her claws into Nate. But I don't really even think they would have needed to get Amanda out of the way to do that. Why did Amanda have to leave town in order for Imani to do what she's gonna do anyway? Sue W. says, regarding Nate's going rogue at the launch party, Nate said, I just want to make sure no one feels I stepped on anyone's toes. And Devon said, well, you did. I love this increasingly insecure wariness from Devon as he eyes Nate's increasing corporate muscle flexing. Hope it continues. Yeah, it is so good. Yeah, watching those two go together, it is subtle, as we talked about last week, and it is very good. It's subtle, it's quick, but it is very good. Oh, let's end on this from Gary, who says, I think Melody Thomas Scott has great humor and a sense of fun and really knows how to bring all of this home to us. I feel forced to say she's my favorite Y&R star and the one person from the show who I would want to sit down with. I'm not starstruck. Imagine running into Allie as you walk down the street in your town heading for a post office, but I would be starstruck. So much I would want to say to someone who feels like she has been there from the very beginning, or so much I would want to say to someone who's been there from the very beginning. Melody and I both love I Love Lucy, and I would really get her. Immodest of me to say that, but I know she'd really like me if I could just break through. This makes me laugh. Yeah, I think it's true. I absolutely think you and Melody Thomas Scott could be great friends. And I just love the notion that you're thinking about, oh, what would I say if I met her? Well, we have I Love Lucy in common, so and she's a big fan of it. So I would get her, she would get me, and we'd become friends. And you know, in Melody Thomas Scott's book, she did say that one of her very best friends is someone who she met at a fan event, who was a fan of the show. So she does seem like the kind of person who would just meet you where you are. She doesn't seem like she would have a bunch of airs about her. I'm sure she gets approached by people all the time, but she seems rather open. So I'm sure you guys could be fast friends. But I also thought that this could be a fun time to reopen the discussion about which Y&R star would you maybe be starstruck to meet. I mean, we kind of talked about who we would be friends with, but maybe we could talk about who could you see on the street and be really impressed by. I mean, I suppose any of them would certainly impress me, but who would you be starstruck to meet in person? I think or maybe who's the person you would most want to meet? I don't, because I don't want to meet any of them. I actually genuinely don't want to meet any of the Y&R stars. I think I would probably be most starstruck to meet Eric Braeden. Honestly, if I saw him, I think that I would be so stunned I would not even know what to say. There's no way I'd be able to form a coherent sentence. So it would be completely wasted on me to even meet him, which is all the more reason I hope I don't ever meet him or any of the other Y&R stars. I just don't think I would know what to say to any of them. And there's a Y&R chat for the week. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you go to yrchat.com to leave me your comments about who you would like to see Chelsea with in the future. Leave me your comments about anything else related to the week. And tell me, who would you be starstruck to meet in real life? There's lots of good stuff going to be coming up next week. Someone mentioned that preview. We're getting ready for a Young and Restless summer. I think next week's going to be pretty good too. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. yrchat.com is the place to do it. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.